Shalom, my friends, this is Max Joseph, and I'm here because, although it is not the first day of May, it is time for the predictions. To give a quick rundown, the predictions will be a video that will normally be released on the first of every month and will feature my predictions for the upcoming Academy Awards. Each category will feature the maximum number of nominees possible with an additional few that are the next in line. And after that, I will add 5 more that'll be titled Followed By. And I won't always get into detail about every single pick because then the video will be 9 hours long, so I'll always talk about my pick to win and then some other highlights on the list. And some of you may be wondering why I didn't release these predictions on the first of the month, and that is because on the 2nd, I put together 12 fellow film lovers and held the first ever film season celebration, and it was the 2020 film season celebration. And putting that thing together took a long time. Anyway, one of the longest seasons in the history of the Academy Awards is finally over. So much incredible history was made at the 93rd Academy Awards. We had the second woman and first woman of color to win Best Director, Chloe Zhao. Anthony Hopkins became not just a 2-time Oscar winner, but the oldest to ever win an acting award. Daniel Kaluuya became the 7th black person to win Actor in a Supporting Role. Soul joined Elite Company, becoming the 6th animated film in history to win more than 1 Oscar. So many amazing things. And no, there's no need to discuss the end of the Oscars because that's in the past. And I'm ready to move forward. Also, keep in mind, because it's so early in the season, we don't know whether performances will be lead or supporting, original or adapted, and then of course, there's the whole, will COVID affect any of these films, which is obviously very possible. But before I go into my predictions, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and ding that little bell to get notified whenever I post new videos. And so, here are my predictions for the 2022 Oscars, May edition. Best Picture. First and most important, starting this year, we will finally have 10 nominees in Best Picture. Second, who the actual heck knows what in the world is gonna happen this next year? These year-in-advance predictions are truly just like throwing caution to the wind. But for the heck of it, we're just gonna do it. I think there is so much amazing content coming out in this upcoming film season. And hopefully the world will be safe enough to actually see these films in theaters. So right now, my pick to win is Ridley Scott's upcoming film, House of Gucci. This guess is based on the following things. Directed by 3-time Oscar nominee Ridley Scott. Starring Academy Award winners Al Pacino, Selma Hayek, Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, Lady Gaga, nominee Adam Driver, Grammy winner and Broadway star Reeve Carney, photography by Oscar nominee Darius Wolski, edited by Oscar winner Claire Simpson, production design by 3-time nominee Arthur Max. All 3 of those nominations coming from films directed by Ridley Scott, Academy Award-winning costume designer Jant Yates, who won for Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2 decades ago. Here's the point. Ridley Scott brought in the full cavalry for this one. There's so much buzz behind this thing, and even if you don't predict it as your winner, it is pretty universally on everyone's radar, at least who I've talked to. Aside from that, of course, we also have Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley, the untitled Paul Thomas Anderson film, aka Soggy Bottom, Adam McKay's Don't Look Up, Mass, which features some of the best acting you will ever see. Like, I would put 3 of these performances in the conversation of top 20 greatest performances ever, but I'll get to that soon. Aaron Sorkin is back with Being the Ricardos. We finally have Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch. I also have David O. Russell's Canterbury Glass. I almost put a 4-way tie with West Side Story, In the Heights, Tick, Tick, Boom, and Dear Evan Hansen because I know one of them is bound to get in. But I'm gonna go with one of the most celebrated directors of all time, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. Also, keep Coda in your lineup, the feel-good movie of Sundance, which is absolutely fantastic. By the way, the reason is because since 2010, we've had 4 of the winners of the US Dramatic Grand Jury Prize winners at Sundance go on to be nominated for Best Picture, and those include Winter's Bone, Beasts of the Southern Wild, Whiplash, and of course last year's winner, Minari. So although it's not a guarantee, it's probably smart to have it there just in case. Last, I have to give a shout out to the fact that this will be the year of musicals. We have In the Heights, West Side Story, Tick, Tick, Boom, Dear Evan Hansen, Everybody's Talking About Jamie, Cyrano, Annette, Carmen, Canto, Vivo, and I'm sure many others. So if you know me, you know that I'm losing my mind right now. Best Director. So this comes down to one big thing. Will picture and director match up? Well, let's look at the history. Since 2010, director and picture have matched 6 times, including Chloe Zhao's historic win for Nomadland. So it's not overwhelming, but it does help a bit. And at the start of the last decade, both director and picture went to the same film, and so far the 2020s are on the same track to do the same. Ridley Scott also has 4 nominations, 3 of those being director, and one of his films, Gladiator, did go on to win Best Picture. So it would be kind of cool to see it happen for him this time because he didn't win director last time. Now, Paul Thomas Anderson has 8 nominations to his name, 2 of those being for directing, and I think it's a safe bet to say he'll at least get a nomination. I also think Guillermo del Toro is a safe bet, and so is Adam McKay, since he already has 1 win and 4 other nominations since 2016. So who does the 5th slot go to? Well, I'm gonna go with Siân Heder. I think this is the feel-good movie of the year, and the world is gonna campaign for her hard. Also, she directed the heck out of that movie. It's amazing. Actress in a leading role. Mass has thankfully been picked up by Bleecker Street, which makes me very happy and also very nervous because I don't know if it's gonna be a big focus for them. But regardless, I'm so happy it got picked up, and today I will be campaigning hard for Martha Plimpton, who gave an all-time performance. Like, all-time. I'll talk a little bit more about her in the next category and then the category after that, and you'll see why. I'm saving it for supporting actor. You'll see. After her, I think Ana de Armas was my winner for the year in advance predictions last year, but then, COVID. So I'm bringing her back into the mix, and I think she is a brilliant actor and is playing Marilyn Monroe. It can't get much better than that. Then we have Lady Gaga starring in Ridley Scott's House of Gucci, and I think that feels like a safe bet as well. I'm also really, really excited about Rachel Zegler. She's about to play frickin' Maria in frickin' West Side Story, directed by Steven frickin' Spielberg. And I was always confused at how Natalie Wood wasn't nominated for her absolutely perfect performance as Maria. So I think it'll be a really awesome moment if and when Rachel Zegler can get this nomination. That 5th slot I kept going back and forth with. It's honestly an 11-way tie between Nicole Kidman and everyone else, but I've settled on Academy Award winner Nicole Kidman. She's playing Lucille Ball in a film written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, so I think her chances are really solid there. Actor in a leading role. Jason Isaacs should win this award. I'll fully explain why in the next category. Just stay tuned. Outside of Isaacs here, we have something really exciting. We have 2-time Academy Award winner Denzel Washington, who's playing off of 3-time winner Frances McDormand, by the way, 2-time nominee Will Smith, Michael B. Jordan, who should probably already have 1 or 2 nominations under his belt, and of course, 2-time nominee Adam Driver in my 5. And here's the thing. With Driver, if he's not nominated for House of Gucci, it'll be a net. If it's not a net, maybe it'll be The Last Duel. No matter what, I feel like we're gonna get an Adam Driver nomination somewhere. And you know what? I feel fantastic about that. I also think we could see a musical performance get in there. Maybe Peter Dinklage in Cyrano, Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom, Anthony Ramos in The Heights, maybe even Ben Platt for Dear Evan Hansen. We'll see. Actress in a supporting role. Let me be as clear as I possibly can. Martha Plimpton, Jason Isaacs, and Ann Dowd gave 3 of the greatest performances I have seen in my life. Put them against Meryl Streep, Marlon Brando, Judy Garland, Dustin Hoffman, Elizabeth Taylor, Al Pacino, Viola Davis, Daniel Day-Lewis, Anthony Hopkins, Katharine Hepburn. I'm not playing here. These are all-time great performances. So unless 3 people give some of the single greatest performances ever, as of today, I would give all 3 acting awards to this trio. Martha Plimpton, Jason Isaacs, and Ann Dowd without hesitation. Now, along with Dowd, I think the world is going to lose their minds over Olga Merediz in The Heights. And I think she's going to get a huge push from Warner Brothers. Another musical performance I'd love to see happen is Ariana DeBose, who of course is playing a role that won Rita Moreno an Oscar almost 60 years ago. Anita in West Side Story. I also think Marlee Matlin will get some well-deserved love for Coda, and it would be pretty freaking exciting to see her return to the Oscar stage after winning an Oscar for Children of a Lesser God, which, by the way, was the first time in history a deaf performer won an acting Oscar. Then there's also Toni Collette, who, I hate saying it, but is due a nomination. Y'all, this brilliant actor only has 1 nomination under her belt, and that was in this category for The Sixth Sense 20 years ago. Actor in a supporting role. This feels wide open. I don't think anyone is a clear, easy nomination at this point, especially since we just aren't sure who's going to be run as lead or supporting. I know that Marlee Matlin is going to get a lot of love for Coda, but I'm also hoping that Troy Kutzer is actually the one who gets the push from Apple. If they do it right, I think if he gets this nomination, he could be an early frontrunner. He could win. And although I think the other 3 performances en masse are going to be the big ones, Reed Birney would most likely get a nomination along with them. Now let's say this 5 happens. It would be all of their first times being nominated for an Oscar. Original screenplay. There is not a single reason I can possibly think of to not have Mass not win this award with ease. Again, I'm saying this a year out, so like, so much is happening, so much is coming out, but oh my God, this script is so good. And if it's not Mass, I think Coda could make it happen. It's such a delightful script, and definitely a feel-good story that I think voters could get on board with. Soggy Bottom is Paul Thomas Anderson, and he has 4 screenplay nominations, but none of them have translated into an Oscar. When Paul Thomas Anderson is in the conversation, keep him in there. Being the Ricardos is Oscar winner Aaron Sorkin, so, there's no need to say anything else, really. One of the greatest writers on the planet is always going to be a serious contender. And then my 5th slot goes to Don't Look Up. I was gonna go with French Dispatch, but I've learned to just not count out Adam McKay, who won Adapted for The Big Short, and was nominated in this category for Vice. So I just don't feel like being too bold and taking him out yet. Also, he'll have a cast that includes Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Cate Blanchett, Tyler Perry, Timothée Chalamet, Jonah Hill, Mark Rylance, and Michael Chiklis, chewing up that text. That'll help him big time. This is going to be a good race this year. Adapted screenplay. This is a crazy awesome lineup. We got Robert Bentivegna adapting his feature film debut in House of Gucci, and because I have it winning picture, I think it just makes sense to have it winning in here as well for now. Not that they have to line up, but I think it makes the most sense this early on. Obviously, this also includes Guillermo del Toro and Kim Morgan for Nightmare Alley. Also could see Jane Campion making a major comeback after winning the Oscar for her writing in 1994's The Piano. That would be awesome. Virgil Williams and John Berman Schwartz are adapting an article written by Dana Kennedy in the film A Journal for Jordan. And it is directed by Denzel Washington and stars Michael B. Jordan. And the last film Denzel directed was Fences, and that was also nominated in Adapted Screenplay. Not that that matters, but it's just interesting to note. Animated feature. Well, my friends, I have to update that thing I keep repeating because Pixar just won its 11th animated feature and is now 9 out of 11 for animated feature after Soul won this on April 25th, and now owns more than 50% of the wins in this category since the category was first introduced. And seeing how this is Pixar's only film this year, it is obviously gonna get a lot of push. But it already has some major competition. First, Encanto, which is Disney's upcoming film with original songs by none other than Emmy, Grammy, Tony winner Lin-Manuel Miranda, who'll be searching for that missing Oscar in original song, which I'll get to in a bit. But based on the description, this sounds like something that could be really awesome. Then after that, we have the latest Netflix animated film, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, which is amazing, and could potentially be a huge spoiler. Then there's also Apollo 10.5, which is directed by the one and only Richard Linklater, with voice performances from Zachary Levi and Jack Black. Next up is the one I was hoping would come out last year but never happened because of COVID, Where is Anne Frank? Directed by BAFTA nominee Ari Folman. There's also Raya and the Last Dragon, Sundance Hit, Crypto Zoo, Vivo, Spirit Untamed, and as I'm sure we all know, a lot of films we don't really even know too much about. Cinematography. The French Dispatch just looks like it is shot so darn well, and I think that Robert D. Yeoman is gonna give us something spectacular. He was nominated once before, and that was for another Wes Anderson film, The Grand Budapest Hotel. And then I also think Gucci is gonna do well. Ridley Scott films have done all right in this category. He has Gladiator and Thelma and Louise, which were both nominated for cinematography, but I'm not ready to put it above French Dispatch until we see some stills and at least a teaser. I also do think Dune has the potential to make this lineup. I don't think it'll get Greg Fraser his first Oscar win, however. And then if nominated, it would be his second. The first was for Lion. I also think Nightmare Alley is a safe bet as far as a nomination goes. Dan Lawson is the photographer and has one nomination to his name, and that was for Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water. Also, 12 Steven Spielberg-directed films have been nominated for an Oscar. Out of those 12, 3 won cinematography, another 4 were nominated. So his films have either won or been nominated in this category 7 out of 12 times. So if I were you, I'd play it safe and put Steven Spielberg in here. And he's using his Oscar winner, Janusz Kaminski, who won 2 times both Spielberg's films. First, for Schindler's List, then again, Saving Private Ryan. Also, shout out to Alice Brooks, who has 2 gigantic musicals coming out this year, In the Heights and Tick, Tick, Boom. Production design. Nightmare Alley feels like something that the Academy could really lose their minds over. Tamara Deverell is the production designer there, and it would mark her first nomination and win. Guillermo del Toro's last film, The Shape of Water, took home 4 Oscars, including production design. In general, I'm looking at Nightmare Alley to be a big player, especially in these below-the-line categories. Dune will also obviously be a huge player this season, and I think that makes a lot of sense. At least one big sci-fi or fantasy film seemed to make this lineup. 2020, we had Tenet, 2018, Black Panther, which won, 2017, Blade Runner 2049, and the winner, The Shape of Water 2016, Arrival, Fantastic Beasts, Passengers 2015, The Martian, and your winner, Mad Max Fury Road. You get the point. Now, with French Dispatch, all you have to do is look at 3 stills to realize this is gonna be a huge player in this category, especially when you realize that the designer is Adam Stackhausen, who also has West Side Story coming out this year. Now, I also think Eternals has a shot to become only the 2nd Marvel Cinematic Universe film to make it into production design. Eve Stewart has 4 nominations, but has yet to win, so I can definitely see it happening for her. Then my number 5 slot goes to the Best Picture frontrunner, House of Gucci, with design by 3-time nominee Arthur Max. One of those nominations was for Gladiator, Ridley Scott. Costume design, give it to Dune, with 3-time nominee Jacqueline West and Bob Morgan, who worked on films like X-Men, Days of Future Past, G.I. Joe, Inception. These 2 teaming up feels really solid to me, and based on those trailers, it looks just so freaking awesome and epic. And in the last few years, we've had a solid mix of period pieces and sci-fi winners, the last 2 being period, so maybe we'll see it go to the sci-fi fantasy world, whether that be Dune or Eternals. I don't know. French Dispatch, again, just look at it. It's getting nominated. There's so many different genres in there, and I think it's just too much eye candy to pass on. Being the Ricardos, I think we're going to be obsessed with seeing that world of Lucille Ball. And then with House of Gucci, you have Janet Yates, who won this Oscar for Gladiator. So we could maybe see it happen again with another Ridley film. Film editing. This crazy category. If you have one film winning Best Picture, I'd say to always have that film at least get nominated here. Because since 1934, less than 15 times has a film won Best Picture without at least a nomination in this category. So I have Gucci winning right now, which would give Claire Simpson her 2nd Oscar. And you obviously have to keep Being the Ricardos in here, as it's edited by Alan Baumgarten, who was just nominated for Sorkin's last film, Trial of the Chicago 7. I also have to think that Adam McKay's Don't Look Up is going to be a huge contender, with Hank Corn back after being nominated for McKay's last 2 films. I have a feeling it's going to be a hat trick as far as nominations are concerned. Dune, the gigantic blockbuster, I think that that's just bound to happen. Some sort of giant film will get in, and I think Dune just makes the most sense. Also, Joe Walker has 2 nominations already. For West Side Story, I believe one of the musicals will get in, and this feels like the safest bet. Especially when you have a legend like Michael Kahn, once again working with Spielberg. And he has 3 wins, and all 3 of those were Spielberg films. Makeup and hairstyling. First, I think Dune is going to win this. Although it wouldn't really line up with what the Academy has gone for recently. We got Ma Rainey, Bombshell, Vice, Darkest Hour. The closest was Suicide Squad and Mad Max Fury Road, which went back to back, by the way. Those were the most recent wins that can match this. But I also think the Academy could kind of lose their minds during Cyrano. They do love prosthetic work, and there is bound to be some pretty incredible prosthetic work in there. Second, nobody wears a wig like Nicole Kidman. So I refuse to not have it in here right now. I know it's a ridiculous reason, but it's just true. Eternals feels like the Marvel movie that would make it in here. Guardians of the Galaxy is the only MCU film to get in here, and I think Eternals may become the 2nd. And I think I just have to put the Suicide Squad on here because the first one won this award. So you've got to think that this has as good a chance as anything else. Sound. Just sound. Going with the big one, Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049 was nominated for sound editing and mixing. Arrival won sound editing, was nominated for mixing. Sicario was nominated for sound editing. So to me, it makes sense to have this at least getting a nomination, and for what I would consider to be Villeneuve's biggest film yet. I think it makes sense to give it the win. And then only 2 MCU films have earned a sound nomination. None have won, but I do think Eternals is bound to get at least a nomination. I mean, it'll be either Eternals, Spider-Man, or Shang-Chi, and then getting repetitive, but Spielberg. I will always put his films in consideration for pretty much all categories. The stats back them up. They've won, they've been nominated, and this one is a musical. It checks every single box it needs to. Visual effects. We are gonna have some crazy competition in this category this season. Insane blockbusters coming up. Do we all notice 3 MCU films in here? I know it's not gonna happen, but like, maybe. They have a grand total of 11 films nominated in this category, but none have managed to win, and I'm not sure it's gonna happen this year because Dune. I think this is the only category that I feel confident about, at least as confident as I can be, a year in advance. Also, thinking that BIOS on Apple TV Plus could earn their first nomination in this category seems like something AMPAs will go for. Original score. Hans Zimmer was my frontrunner last year until it was pushed back, so I'm sticking with that for now. I also think Power of the Dog's Johnny Greenwood could sneak in, and I can also see Alexandre Desplat pulling a Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross and earning a double nomination. The only difference is that I don't think he'll win. He also already has 2 wins and 9 other nominations. The coolest part about his 2 wins are that one of them was for Shape of Water, directed by Guillermo del Toro, and then the other was The Grand Budapest Hotel, directed by Wes Anderson. Obviously, the same 2 directors in this lineup as well. Original song. Y'all are gonna be really surprised, and I'm gonna get so many comments, but like, YOLO. I know that everyone is gonna say No Time to Die from the upcoming James Bond film by Billie Eilish, but I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with Lin. I'm going with him making history and winning his Oscar, which will give him his EGOT. If not those 2, we also have Oscar winners Pasek and Paul on Dear Evan Hansen. Lin-Manuel probably wrote something for Tick Tick Boom. And then another Oscar winner in this category, Lady Gaga. It was just announced she will have an original song in Top Gun. So that is definitely going to be a big one to look out for, as well as Diane Warren, who is still looking for her first Oscar. Those are my predictions for the 94th Academy Awards May edition. Let me know what you have predicted in the comments. Agree? Disagree? Let me know. And so, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like this video, give me your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to this channel, as well as follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at mjoseph492. Like my page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/MaxJosephFilmPerson. Join the Amino live chat, which is open 24/7, 365. And if you really love me, please consider being a member of the channel, where you can get member-only content, guest interviews, giveaways, and lots more. You can even give me a film to review, a 10th of the month top 10 category, a ranking, or a song to sing. And that video will be dedicated to you. Shalom, my friends.